All vacuum forms. The front view. To turn the unit on, turn the emergency switch and it'll pop out. You will hear a click and the unit will be powered up. The main control panel. When you first power the unit up, you'll see the green light is lit, and you'll also see that the display is on and blinking slowly. To start the unit, turn on the heaters, which will come on, and will start warming up. The bottom number in green is the temperature that you want to have the heater go to. The top temperature is the temperature the heater's at now. So as you can see, it's 82 degrees, and we want it at 400, so it'll be a little while. And then the air compressor switch, and the air compressor automatically shuts off. We can also turn on the vacuum system, which will turn on when it needs vacuum. There's 4 small knobs here. One's marked heat, which is the amount of time that the piece of plastic spends back getting warmed up or over the heater. There's the vac, which is the amount of time after the die comes up that the vacuum is pulling it down and sucking on it. There's a fan delay, and what that is the delay time from when the vacuum starts sucking the plastic down into the mold until the fan starting to cool it off. Normally you want some type of a fan delay there. It can be very slight so the plastic can suck down into the mold and be in all the crevices before you start cooling it off. And then finally the last one is fan cool, and what that is that's after the vacuum has stopped pulling down on the plastic but yet the mold is still up, that it blows on the plastic and cools it off to freeze the mold, freeze the plastic before it drops. And as you can see here, you have heat right now is set for 48, vac is set for 8, fan delay is set for 14, and the fan time is set for 52. If you notice, they're blinking. Every time they blink, the computer's going back around making some checks to see, number one, if you push the start buttons, and if not, then it goes through and it reads all the pots, calculates everything, and displays it. When you do turn the pot, turn it slowly and let it blink at least 2-3 times, because sometimes as the pot is turning, the computer has to go through it a few times to get the correct total, because it's also going back checking the switch. So anytime you set that, just let it blink a few times. And I'll show you the inside of the unit here, which is normally closed, but I just want you to get an idea of what's going on. As you can see now, we're up to 214, 215, 216. This is the inside of the unit. There's the thing on the right there, the gray colored box with the yellow terminals, is the main power relay that if anything should ever happen or something goes crazy or for whatever reason, you hit that emergency stop button, that kills all the power to the whole system. The silver box back there is the power supply for the 24 volts for everything. As we go around here, the 3 boxes there, little black boxes with the blue connectors, are solid state relays to control the fan and the 2 air valves. Over there is a larger black box with the blue and yellow and little red connectors on it. That's the large solid state relay that turns the heater on and off. Back here we have on the bottom there, on the bottom lower left, you see the pots, and up above you see the fan or the vacuum and pump switches. And over here is the heater controls, and that's a little computer in there that automatically takes care of that. And then down below here is the little microcomputer that's running everything and taking all the readings. Over here is the heater. If you look on the back here, you'll see the little piece of wire going in there. That's the thermocouple to take the temperature, to keep the heater and the controller at the right temperature. There's a hood over the heater, and as you go up you see like a little chimney up there, and if you come up here and look on the top, it is covered, and the reason for that is to keep the heat from being wasted. And when the plastic slides back, that cover will slide off. It's attached to the plastic rack, and it will then allow the plastic to be heated, so when the plastic comes forward to be formed, it covers the heater again to keep the heat in. Please note, do not open the box to go inside. There's really no user serviceable parts in there, but if you want to look in there and whatever, make sure you unplug the cord before you open it up, because it will zap you and you will get killed dead. Down below is the air compressor, compact unit with 2 gauges. The gauge on the right is the main pressure of the tank, and the gauge on the left is the pressure we're running the system, which right now I have set to 0 for a reason I'll show you in a few minutes. Next to it here is the vacuum tank, and it's showing a gauge there with the, right now it's about 7 or 8 inches of mercury vacuum. Over here is the little vacuum pump, which we'll also look at from the front. The starting capacitors. Once again, there's the vacuum pump from the other side. And there's a little, this unit in the front here, this gray box, is the vacuum switch that detects how much vacuum is there and controls the pump. Off the head of the vacuum pump there's a short piece of tubing, and it goes into that little gray round part. That's a check valve. So as it sucks the air out of the system and sucks out of the tank to store the vacuum, when it's done pumping, on this little short piece of tubing there's a miniature tiny little hole drilled in there, and that's a calibrated leak, so that when the vacuum pump shuts off, that allows the air pressure to come back in only on the left hand side of that check valve, so the vacuum stays on the right. And then the reason for the calibrated leak is if there's still some vacuum in there and it wants to start up again, it does not have to struggle against the vacuum. It can get over 2-3 turns before it can start sucking again. Up front here also we have the 2 control valves. This one here is one of the control valves for one of the cylinders, and right across here is the other control valve for the other cylinder. Once before, here's your emergency stop. Right now it is out, and if you notice, the 2 push buttons there are lit, so if anything ever happens, you just hit that and everything shuts off. Up above here is the area where the plastic goes in. You open these 2 clamps, you lift this up, take it out, you'll lay your plastic down there in that red zone, and you will put this part back in, and you will push these clamps down and lock the plastic, and then you can start. One thing I want to point out here, and the reason the air is off, so if this doesn't come back all the way, and when you first start the unit up, which we're going to simulate now because I pushed this in, so we're then, so you're first going to start the unit up by turning it and popping it out. When the unit first starts up, you will notice that the lights are blinking. And that's telling you that there's something wrong and this part did not come back. But when this part does come back, the lights stop blinking. And also, this is the cylinder down here in front that moves the die, which is right over here. Right over here is the die that goes up and down. So if this cylinder is not in the down position, you'll get a faster blinking light. So just to once again show you something, I move this out of the way. There's the mold. There's the mold. And this is the new mold I made. It's carved out of mahogany, which is a great thing for molding. There's 4 screws here, 1, 2, 3, 4. You remove those, take the mold out, you put the other mold in, replace the 4 screws, tighten them all to their finger tight with the wrench. Do not over tighten them, you can break the ears off. And basically you're ready to go then.